Hello everybody, welcome. What I'm going to do is, I've got some slightly bigger pots here that I want to decorate, and this is just a vase which has been biscuit fired. It's covered completely over inside and out with a white glaze, and what I'm aiming to do is something with a wash here of it's like a blue cobalt wash. It's not just cobalt though, because it's cobalt. If you use cobalt oxide on its own, it's too violently blue. We don't like that violent blue colour, at least I don't. So we have to tone down the cobalt with some added iron oxide, some manganese dioxide, to kind of calm it down. And ooh, it's raining. Oh well. So I'm using one of these hacky type brushes, and what I want to do is band on some of this pigment right the way up to about there. I'm then going to, well, I'm a little bit experimenting here in front of you, which I probably ought not to be doing, but well, I am anyway, so what the heck. So here goes. So I'm going to load the brush quite well at this point, because I don't want to have it too dark either. So just adding a little water there. So it's quite a watery. I may find as soon as the brush hits the pot that it's too dark. I don't know. I think it's. I want to get it sort of slightly watery consistency, not too kind of heavy. So let's brush this on, see how we go. Now I have to do it in stages, obviously, because I haven't got enough to go all the way up to the top. So there's a certain amount of overlap that is occurring. Yeah. Okay. Of course, each successive time, if I go back, I get a double layer. So I have to be a bit careful. For example, here at the top, you can see that it's missed in places there, and I've got to think to myself, am I going to leave it like that, or am I going to go over it a bit more? I think I'm going to go over it a bit more. I'm going to make sure it's really watery though, so I don't get too much of a double thickness there building up. So okay, right, I've done that. So what next? That's going to sort of form the backdrop to the decoration that I'm going to put on the pot. Now, I'm doing something a bit new here. I'm going to use this grass brush. Just take some dried grasses from the garden when they're going over a bit, you know, in the summer, and then what I want to do is I want to scratch through now this blue wash that I've put. I want to scratch through back to the glaze that's underneath. So here goes. Let's see what we can do. I want to get a bit of fluidity in my movements, a little bit like you would naturally see grasses perhaps growing in the field. So this could be like a loose interpretation of grasses that are in fact growing there in the field. So we're going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to I may just have to put my hand on the top there, so what I don't want to do is, in the process, push the vase over onto the table. So here goes. All right. Now that's looking like it's got possibilities. Da-dee-dee-dee-dee. I don't want something, you see, that's too coarse, because that's going to really scratch through violently. So I'm using these grasses because they've got a little bit of flexibility about them. I'm looking for that sort of natural look. You know, when you're giving decoration to a pot, what you want to do is somehow impart some life to the pot. You don't want to put a decoration onto a pot that it just sort of sits there and it looks like bleh. What you want to do is give it something that's got a little bit of, I don't know how to describe it. Life is the word, but it's, one more there. So, now then, again, this is going to be forming the backdrop. Now I'm going to come in with some iron oxide here. Just need a bit more water here in that pot. Thanks. The thing is, out here in Spain, it's so dry. I find that I'm putting water into the pigments and things, and I come back like 10 minutes later and thank you, it's all dried up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to band on the top there I'm going to band some iron oxide right on the rim at the very top here. When you're thinking about doing decoration on a pot, sometimes it helps to sort of frame the decoration, and by banding lines onto a pot you can create the sense of a space, which then lends itself very nicely to have a decoration put right on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just go over the rim here with the red iron oxide. It's very much a case of feeling one's way a little bit when you're decorating, and there are no sort of hard and fast rules. That's why I try to, you know, I'm looking at a pot, I try to sort of be receptive to the shape of the pot, because the shape of the pot conveys something to me, and I want to be receptive to that information that the pot is giving to me. So that's what these are the sort of thought processes that are going through my head as I'm doing this, and I think I'm going to put a bander line down there. I think I'm going to band another one up there as well. Look at that. Sometimes you can do a thick line and then a thin line. Now I'm trying to think of a suitable decoration that's going to be, which I'll do in iron oxide, which is going to be in keeping with with this. Now I don't want to really pick the pot up at this stage too much, because I'm very likely to smudge the surface, because it's, as I told you, it's basically got a white glaze, and I don't want to. Sometimes what I start with, I just start with a brush stroke, and then what I don't want to be doing is to be too contrived about what I'm doing. I want to sort of feel free about what I'm doing, but and not contrived. Sometimes I have to be a little bit contrived, and then I find that the freedom comes. I don't want to think about it too much or intellectualize it either, because that also can kill it. Difficult one, you know, to get, you know, I'm very much feeling my way, to be honest. I'm also aware that the thickness of the pigment on the